Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday of the 11th week in Ordinary Time. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for coming to Mass this past weekend. It was so nice to see the crowds back and everyone coming back to Mass and participating in the life of the parish. As you know, Archbishop Perez thanks you as well. As you know, the Archbishop has spoken to all the pastors and the pastors' staff in our parishes and asking everyone to work collaboratively together, parish and people, to make sure that we continually invite people back to Mass. So two groups of people in particular the Archbishop is thinking about, and that is all those affected with COVID. Maybe they were not at ease to come back. Now that CDC gave us the thumbs up, green light, we are moving, of course, into full active and conscious participation in person Sunday Mass. So I truly invite everyone back to Sunday Mass. It is an obligation for all of us as Catholic to keep holy the Sabbath day, and it's done in a beautiful way in person. Now, I mentioned this to you before. The Church has always taught that if you're sick, if you're unable because of age, because of mobility, because of transportation, how could you be liable? And the Church says you're not. You're not. Now, when it comes to age, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm 65, I don't have to go to church anymore. I just want to put that on the table. That's a falsehood. You know, that's not the case. If you're 65, you could go to Mass. We have people in our church that come to daily Mass at 80. Daily Mass. Daily Mass. I'm not talking about Sunday Mass. So we have people in their 80s going to daily Mass. So when we're talking about age, we're talking about people who are not mobile and they have no ride. Now, how could they be liable? You know, because they're living probably in a retirement home. No one that they know goes to the parish for Mass, and they feel bad. So those people are watching it on television. Okay? I just want to let us understand what that means. But everybody else who is body able to go to Mass should go to Mass. So let's just say, do you go shopping? Do you go grocery shopping? Do you go clothes shopping? Do you go out for a walk? You need to go to Mass. You need to go to Mass. I'm talking about shut-ins. Because of your age, you're a shut-in and you don't go out much. If anything, you might go out to the patio in your development and at least get some fresh air. Well, I'm talking about people who are not mobile, those type of people that are confined. Well, they're not liable. They're not under penalty of mortal sin. But people who are body abled, who are mobile, that means they could go to different places. Oh yeah, I go food shopping. Oh yeah, I take a ride to the CVS. Oh yeah, I walk. We have a little path down where I live. I walk there. You need to go to Mass. You're liable. You're under mortal sin. You know, you would have a mortal sin on your soul if you missed Mass, if you're able to do that. So there is such a thing as mortal sin, everybody. Mortal sin is a deadly sin on your soul. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows there are still mortal sins. Missing Mass is a mortal sin. So I just want to put that out there just in case if you think, oh, after 65 you don't have to go anymore. That's not true. That's a falsehood. That's not true. You have to go to Mass on Sunday. Well, first of all, because you want to. More than the obligation, because you want to. You want to go to Mass. You want to receive our Lord in Holy Communion, don't you? I hope you do. I mean, what prevents you to take 1 hour out of your week? That's all. To go to church. to be at Holy Mass, to receive our Lord in Holy Communion, and to go home. What's the problem? I don't think a big problem, right? But the church has always taught, like, if you're sick, if you're elderly, shut in, if you're compromised in such a way because of your health, the church has never, ever, ever taught that those people are under the penalty of mortal sin. Never, never, never. They are always excused because of the situation that they're in. But everybody else, we need to go to Mass. So anyway, why am I saying this? Because it was so nice to see all of you at Mass on the weekend. It's just so very nice. So the Archbishop wants to just make sure that this summer, everybody's working on that whole understanding. Susan, there's a phrase that the Archbishop is using. What is that phrase?
Nothing compares.
Nothing compares. Okay, so that's the phrase the Archbishop is using. I know that Susan used it in an email she sent somebody, and I was copied on it, and I like that. But now that you say it, Susan, I absolutely remember the Archbishop saying, nothing compares. Which he's trying to say is, nothing compares to be in person.
Yeah.
Nothing compares to be in person at Mass. In fact, people will tell you that it's harder to participate in Mass in your house, in your living room, than it is in person. It's harder. Now, do you know who I hear that from? The young and the elderly. I hear it from everybody. In fact, I heard it today. I heard it today. Someone said to me, it's harder to view Mass in my house. But when I come here, I'm focused, I'm zeroed in, my prayer is more attentive, and I think they pray better by just being in person. So that's the tagline. Nothing compares. Nothing compares. And the Archbishop is correct. Nothing does compare to be in person at Mass. So we're just telling everybody, if you could help us. So do you have family and friends that are still on the fence of coming back to Holy Mass? Would you talk to them? Ask them if they would please begin to come back now. Begin to come back to Mass. And to be part of a parish family. If they have not been to communion, please, or confession, please tell them to go to confession Saturday afternoon. Okay? That's very important. So the other segment of Nothing Compares is those who have been away before COVID. So now that's a whole nother group of people. All right, let's talk about that a little bit. Do you know anybody who has been away before COVID and still is not back? Nothing compares to be in person at Holy Mass receiving the Eucharist. Nothing. So you may have friends that says, oh, I find God outside, I walk the trail, I hear all the birds, and I see nature, and it's just so beautiful. Nothing compares to Mass. Nothing compares to in-person Mass. They're nice. Trees, birds, all that. Beautiful. It is God's creation. Very nice. No one's gonna argue with that. However, the graces of Mass outweigh any other experiences that you may have. So I'm not going to argue with the point that, oh, it's so beautiful outside. I love to take a walk on the beach. People love that, you know. They love the beach. They love the waves. They love the sound of the seagulls. They love all that. They love the seashells. Beautiful. Some people like to go, we're in historic Schwanksville, Spring Mount area, right? They love the Perkiomen Trail. Hey, your pastor, me, I go on the trail. I love it too. I see parishioners there, say hello to people. It's beautiful. That does not mean that I skip Mass. That doesn't mean I skip Mass. I go to Mass every day. I'm a believer, I'm a Catholic, and I'm a priest. I go to Mass every day. I would never think of missing Mass, of course, on Sunday. I would never even think of it unless I was sick or immobile. But I would never think of missing Mass. It wouldn't even cross my mind. I would want to be at Mass. I can't give God an hour? Please! Do you know how much time we give everybody else? I give this person this time. I'm at work. I give that person. How much time do we on our phone? How many hours are we doing this? How many hours are we how many hours are we doing all of that? You're telling me, you're actually going to tell me that 1 hour you can't devote to Holy Mass, to the sacrifice of Jesus crucified and risen and made present to us in the most blessed sacrament, and to receive that gift in our own bodies? I hope that no one could ever say that to you, that they could do anything else that would ever take the place of that, which is Holy Mass. Because it can't. It cannot take the place of Holy Mass. It is the supreme act of God's love for humanity. It is. So it's not just, and that's why I give a lot of reflections on this. It's just not going to church. You're not just going, like going to Wawa. I have to go to Wawa again? What are we, out of milk? I have to go to Wawa. It's not going to church. I don't even like that phrase sometimes. People use it because it just tells me I'm going to church. If you say anything, just say I'm going to Mass. I'd rather hear that than going to church. Because you are the church. How can you go to yourself? I'm going to church. You're already there. You are the church. So go to Mass. Or I'm going to the sacrifice of the Mass. I'm going to celebrate the sacred mysteries. I just want people to deepen their vocabulary into what is actually happening at Mass. That term, going to church, to me is just like going to Wawa or going to a store. I'm going to church. No, I'm going to Mass. I'm going to celebrate the sacred mysteries. I'm going to celebrate the sacrifice of the Mass. I think we need to deepen our awareness of what we're doing and make sure our vocabulary is on target to what we believe and what we're encountering. So I'm going to throw that out to you, okay? So nothing compares to in-person holy sacrifice of the Mass. Nothing compares. Yes, there's a lot of ways that you can commune with God. Nature, the beach, your backyard. I get it. Nothing compares. So I'm going to throw this out to you. Same thing with the church. Pentecostal, Baptist, Methodist. Nothing compares to the Catholic Church. So they're a church. Well, not technically, they're not. They're an ecclesial community. They're not a church. So nothing compares to the one Holy Catholic Apostolic Church. So do they have elements? Oh, sure, they're probably all Christians. They believe in, I hope they believe in Jesus as the Son of God. I hope they believe that Jesus is the Savior. But nothing compares to the one Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church that Jesus founded. So do you see where I'm going with this? When people say, they could find God in nature, in their backyard, watching the grandkids play in the pool, taking a walk on the Perkiomen Trail. Fine. We can all understand the beauty in that, but nothing compares to the holy sacrifice of the Mass. That's central. That is central. So two things that we have to be aware of, and also to invite those who have been away from the holy sacrifice of the Mass in person because of COVID. It's now time to come back. It's okay. It is very safe. It is okay. If you want to wear a facial mask, you may. You may. Don't worry about that. No one's going to say to remove it. No one's going to say anything to you. If you want to wear it, you may. You can wear it 10 years after this. You don't have to, if you want to wear it, you wear it. In fact, I think some of us should wear it during flu season, because it really, that number really went down during flu season, the amount of flus that people did not contract. I think we're more aware of our surroundings Now, like I told you before, don't OD on this. You know why? Because this is alcohol. Soap and warm water. Soap and warm water. Don't OD on this. Too potent at times. Don't get in the habit of this. I think it should be used sparingly. Mm-hmm. Not like 24/7. Some people are like addicts with this stuff. Like, they're taking a bath with it. So, just be careful. So, you want to wear a mask when you come to church this coming Sunday? It's Father's Day this coming Sunday. Come to Mass and pray for dear old Dad. Maybe he's alive. Maybe he's deceased. Pray for your grandfather. Pray for your godfather. Pray for the father figures in your life. Pray for me. I'm your spiritual dad, right? I'm Father Bellopede. So please pray for me. I need prayers. We all need prayers, right? So pray for me. So all those father figures in your life, come to maybe light a candle, offer a prayer. Whatever you want to do, I think you find a peace and serenity at St. Mary's. At least all of our parishioners say that. I mean, I know it's me saying this, but ask anybody. Okay, if you don't, ask anybody. Everyone loves St. Mary's. And how can you not love St. Mary's? It's a beautiful, beautiful place. It really is. So come back to Mass, will you? If you want to wear a mask, you can. You don't have to if you were fully vaccinated. And even if you weren't fully vaccinated, you may say to yourself, I wasn't fully vaccinated, but I don't want to wear a mask. I think you will make your own moral, good choice decision based upon your love for humanity and your love for your neighbor, right? So, but the church is not going to stop you. The church doesn't interrogate you and say, okay, show me your COVID card. It's worship. It's a house of worship. We're not going to, pull out your ID. Pull out your ID. Let me see who you are. We sing that song, All Are Welcome, right? So you are. You're welcomed at this holy place. And don't forget about the second part of this. How about all those people that have not been going to Mass before COVID? Oh, that makes me so sad. So sad. All those people that don't go to Mass. I'm talking about before COVID. Before COVID. They're not going to Mass. What is wrong? Why? I think you have to encourage people back. Encourage them back. Sometimes it's just out of laziness and out of a bad habit. They might have no qualms with the church or anything. It's just they got out of habit of going to Mass. They became lazy. And one thing led to another and led to another, and before you know it, they're not going to church anymore. I said that again. They're not going to church. They're not going to Mass anymore. See, I catch myself. As long as you catch yourself, I think you're okay. So they're not going to Mass anymore. So maybe you could say, come on with me. Once in a while we'll go out to get something to eat afterwards. Call your friend or take somebody. Maybe someone who's like, I don't drive, or can you take me to Mass? You could think about that. My whole thing about the bulletin, leave it in places so that people can look and they're moved and they're like, I have to get back to Mass. That's the second time I saw somebody with a parish bulletin. I think God is saying something to me. It's all these little things that speak to people. You don't have to be a theologian. You just have to be a practicing Catholic, a practicing follower of Jesus. Right? So we're almost there with the internet and the command center. So I put in the bulletin this past weekend that we're going to make a decision on our company and what plan, what option that we're going to use for the internet for church. As you know, our church is not hardwired. So we're going to have to do all of that. And then we have to put cameras strategically in place and bolt them into the church in a way that they're not distracting or they don't look out of place, right? And then we have to have a command center where the controls are and set that up. So I think we're almost there. If you're able to help us, that would be wonderful. We're happy to have any donations that you give us. We have received the bulk of the donations already. But we just have we need a little bit more to get where we want to get, and that would be wonderful. And the second thing is, of course, we're working on our HVAC for our chapel. As you know, it died. The HVAC for the chapel. So we repaired it, and then we repaired it again, and then we repaired it again, and then we fixed it again, and then we changed it again, and then we repaired it again. The guy said, I'm what done? Dead. Over. No more. So I said, we can't, nothing. You have to bury it, Father. So we need the heating and the cooling system, the HVAC, or some people say HVAC system for the chapel. So we need to do that. And if you want to help us with that, that would be wonderful for both of those projects, you will call Mary Beth O'Connor in the business office here at the Parish Office Center, and she'll be able to help you with any details that you may have or any questions that you may have. She'll be more than happy to help you and answer those questions. And last but not least, did you hear about my announcements about the geese on our property? We have about 45 geese. Now, this morning they were not out, but they'll come back. So I know somebody came with their dog today. I think it was Ann Bayshore and her son. Thanks, Ann. So I think, you came and there was no geese. And they're there. Once in a while, I don't know where they go. They probably go out for breakfast somewhere. And then they come back. But I'm telling you, I'm not lying. There's 45 of them. So I think Mary Beth says to come back. So, because a couple times, even Father Keene said to me, where are they? I said, I have no idea. But if you could bring your dog out, so why don't you ride around first and see if they're out. And if they're out, you'll know where they are because they're either in front of the pond, on the side of the pond, on the other side of the pond, or in between the school and the residence. They're somewhere right in those areas that I mentioned, okay? Once you realize that they're there, go home and get Fido, or whatever you call him or her, and put them in your car and say, go get them. And please chase them away because they're leaving a lot of donations and I can't use their donations because it's not paper donation. They're leaving a mess on the property, a mess on the driveway. It's like, and we take very good care of this place. We take pride in our shared home, right? Mm-hmm. We take pride in our shared home. So anyway, that's my third little request. If you could bring your dog around and chase our geese. They're not registered here, so they need to go. I think they're members of STC. Don't tell Father Brand I said that. They're not registered here. They have to go somewhere else. They're, maybe somewhere else. But we have to do something with them because God bless them. They're multiplying. They're multiplying. Someone also asked me, are all of them enough to fly? And I'm almost positive they are. I answered the question when the parishioner asked me, because some of them are young, but now they're almost, I believe they are. Check them out, and they'll be able to fly away. Okay? So, also another parishioner asked me about the internet, and they were very pleased with, we're moving forward on the project, and we're going to have our church hardwired. The people of St. Mary's they're just unbelievable. They're beautiful people. Well, anyway, they were very happy that we're going to have our church hardwired, that we're going to put cameras up, that we're going to have a command center. And then they were just happy they wanted me to explain to them, who are the audience that would be, be watching. Because you know what they also said, Susan? Hmm. They were saying with the Archbishop's request, would that be? And I said, that's a fair question. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I understand what you're saying. The Archbishop is very clear. It's time to come. Nothing compares to come back home again. What this is all about is our shut-ins. So one of the statements I made to our parishioner was, I said, our shut-ins who receive Holy Communion from our extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion from Mass, you see them leave Mass and go to their communion call. Mm-hmm. Well, they would love to watch their own parish church. Yeah. They support this parish. So if they support this parish, they want to watch their parish church. Mm-hmm. And they want to see their Eucharistic minister leave Mass and come to them, because they can say, oh, Susan's leaving Mass. She'll be coming to me shortly. They'll be able to see that. It's also, I told these parishioners, I said, it's also for the opportunity for grandmom and grandpapa who's in a nursing home who will maybe miss their granddaughter's wedding, or First Holy Communion, or confirmation, or funeral of their friend.
Right.
Their friend's funeral, because they're shut in, they can't get out, and they would love to watch their friend's funeral mass. Well, the parishioner said, Father, don't say anymore. I understand. I understand. I just was like, no, I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're doing it, but just it's not a way for people to no. I said this is not about a way for people to miss mass. No. Do you see all these other situations that we're dealing with, that people want to view Holy Mass, but because of age and medical reasons and distance, they can't. And I mean distance in the sense of this. Grandma lives in Florida now. She can't come up, but she can watch. Grandmom lives now in, Georgia, and the ride would be too much. Can I watch it? And I'll see you guys when you come here in the summer. I'll give you something when you come here. But I go, see what I mean? It's about having it available. Having it available for all of our parishioners and friends of our deceased parishioners to be able to participate. That's what it's all about. To give service to our own people who are not able to physically come to Mass. It's not about allowing the internet to become a means for people who are able to come to Mass that just don't want to because they're lazy. Some people say the internet should not be a crutch, right? For them not to come to Mass. In other words, an excuse. Trying to explain that to you. Like an excuse. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this to make an excuse for people. These are legitimate reasons for that. But anyway, long story short, they were so happy. They were so happy. And of course they said, Father, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. And they also said, count us in. Count us in for that project to be completed. So it was very nice. Last, I want to talk to you about, thank you for coming by to see Father Keene. So this coming Father's Day, which is on Sunday, right? Father's Day is Sunday. So will be Father's last weekend with us to celebrate Mass. He has the 7:30 and the 9. So if you did not see him, you could see him there. Or in the parish bulletin, this coming weekend will be his address. 128 Bryn Mawr Avenue, Bala Cynwyd, Pennsylvania. St. Matthias Rectory. So anyway, it's there and it'll be in the bulletin. But I wanted to give you all of this just to explain things to you, to let you know what's going on, just to keep you updated. And as Catholics, to be concerned, like we all are, about those people who are Catholic, but for whatever reason, are not attending Sunday Mass. I hope it's a concern of yours as it is mine, as it is the Archbishop's. It is a very much concern of ours that people are not with their family at Sunday Mass. And I'm talking about their parish family. That's what I'm talking about. And their own family, but I mean, I'm talking about the parish family. That we're a family here. We need to stick together, pray together, receive communion together, socialize together. It's good for body, mind, and spirit, isn't it? All right, that's enough for today, everybody. You know that I love you. Have a nice day.